Hello, everybody. It's me, the Boss Hog, and today is part two of finding that motivation. Follow up as I committed to. I just want to start there by thanking everyone for some nice comments, whether that was kind of relating to how you're currently feeling as well, or people just sort of appreciated a slight pivot in the channel. It is about betterment, ultimately, this channel, but I appreciate we haven't done a ton of talking in terms of my emotional, mental mindset. And generally finding that motivation. So actually, it was great to hear some positive feedback, primarily on Discord. Somebody also emailed me, so I really appreciate that. Without further ado, though, let's do that follow up now and see how we're doing. All right, so here is a list of my commitments. I've taken them basically from the video that I did last week. I decided to basically rag status it, so red, amber, green. Only I've done like a 1 to 5 grading, so some of the greens are, green and very green, and likewise here, all of these reds are very red, but we could potentially have just moderately red, as well as amber in the middle there. That aside, the most important one here is my general motivation. I did consider making this like the less red, but I still think it's very much a work in progress. There's too much red on here more generally. I realized I was wasting a lot of time when I was putting this together, and generally I think I was procrastinating a little bit. There has been some progress, so I don't want to kind of be like too hard on myself, but I also don't want to be easy on myself either, right? The whole point of this is to have difficult realizations and not hide from it, and I guess share that. So ultimately here, the most important uh, thing on this is really that top line. And we want to be gradually moving to green. Probably going to take a couple of months, to be honest with you, at least. And then, maybe once things improve or change, then we add things or take things off, etc. But that's how we currently are. In terms of investments, on a better note, I forgot in a way that I did a couple of like industry consultations earlier in the month. They paid very well, although they don't come around too often. So I had like £500 income from doing a couple of those, and that combined with the fact we have a couple of grand in our current account, so that's more money than we need for this time of the month, meant I was very comfortable putting in 800 this week, so that felt really good, especially because the market's obviously a bit beaten up at the moment. So great. Family time. I did have some time, like decent time to the park, etc., with my daughter, but the main call out here was my wife's birthday on the 16th of September. We decided just to have a nice day together, basically. We took books and things with us, and even like my laptop, in case we did like job hunting or something. But actually, we just had a really pleasant day. My wife wanted to go to IKEA, which wouldn't be how I would choose to spend my birthday, but she loves it in there. So we went there. We had a nice lunch in IKEA and bought a couple of things. My wife really is into storage, as well as like some soft toys for our daughter. So that was actually a really nice day with my wife, to be fair. A friend catch up here was also very nice. The person I was catching up with, I would class as my best friend. I think he's a really nice bloke. Just basically being his friend feels like it makes me a better bloke. Also, in the future, I hope that he will become my official business partner. We've spoken about basically getting a buy-to-let property beforehand. So we were sort of exchanging where we are financially. Both of us are at a similar stage in our lives with kind of family, work, investments, etc. So it feels really good from that perspective. Not quite ready to pull the trigger yet for various reasons I won't go into here, but ultimately he's given me the green light to talk about things in general terms and our investments in specific terms, but he would just like to be known on this channel as a business partner, so that's what I shall refer to him as. So that person knows who they are, and it was good to have a catch up with them because, like I say, I think he's a nice person. So a fairly easy one this week for an introvert to do a catch up with somebody that you actually enjoy catching up with. Maybe in the future, sort of catching up with other sort of colleagues, friends, family might not be so easy, but that was a nice one. In terms of job hunt, so I have now handed in my notice formally. I am going out to meet a recruiter this evening, so that should be really good. Actually, I like the recruiter as well, so I'm generally looking forward to catching up with him again. He doesn't necessarily work in a super close industry to me, but actually there is some overlap, so we'll see how it goes, and you never know. But so far I've actually been relatively feel good about the feedback I've been getting in terms of the jobs I'm applying for, the CVs, etc. Like I'm being quite selective, but I've applied for like 12 roles or so. One of them really likes me, but it's a contract job and they're not really prepared to wait for like 3 months. But the contract that they're working on is a very large project in the UK telecom sector. So basically, they'd like me to give them a call in a couple of months' time when I'm good to work. And they're quite confident they can find work for me. And that kind of role does appeal very much. So we'll see where that goes. But broadly speaking, I'm kind of in the running for reasonable positions that are varied and we'll see how they go. I'm being quite selective, especially because I'm kind of like wanting to be at my next job for many years, and kind of want to not become demotivated. So again, I think it's important that I take my time here, but so far I'm actually relatively happy. The only reason I won't mark this amber is just because I think I could have been a bit stronger on my job hunting. Like I didn't, I wasn't as persistent or as rigorous, like, as I could have been basically. So, what I did think I did well. I did cover letters for things I was really passionate about and applied for that, but I think I could have done a bit more. So I think amber is a fair score here. In terms of poker, I gave myself a light green. I did play, even though I lost money. The main aim here was to play. That's the first time I played in 4 months. I played tournament poker for 75 quid, and I was actually quite impressed with the quality of competition. I actually didn't feel very strong in the tournament at all and didn't cash. So that was interesting for me. I am not a tournament player, but still, I thought I would compete a bit more equally, and actually I did feel, not equivalent to an average player. So I think if I'm going to be playing poker tournaments, I need to brush up on theory. I did used to play poker tournaments like 15 years ago, but poker has changed so much over the last sort of 15 years that it feels very different. So fair enough. I did then opt into a high variance cash game, one of the wildest 1-2-5 games that I've ever experienced. Multiple like thousands of pounds pots, including one that was over £4 grand. So an 800 big blind pot for anyone who plays poker is extremely rare. And there were like several of those kind of large pots, lots of egos around the table, lots of big stacks. So they're the kind of games you actually want to be involved in. For me, I doubled up actually quite early on with kings against twos, and naturally the twos just went all in from like under the gun, which is wild. But there we go. So that was great because I was right next to them and just snapped them off and got a full double up. So that was good. But then I lost a coin flip. I think it was like tens against ace king. That happens sometimes, that's fine. And then unfortunately the one that finished me off was I had like, just the world. I had like a huge hand anyway, and somebody else had 2 pair, but I was 60% favorite. So I had like a top pair as well as draws to a straight and a flush, so I was really good putting my money in. We ran it twice, even though I was a 61% favorite, and I lost both boards. So that was, I felt fine playing cash basically. I played solid, and on a different night where my luck held, I would have won like £500 to £800. Here it just didn't. So, but I was fine with it. That's the nature of poker, and I lose 30% of the sessions I play. And this was one of them. So I was fine with the cash game here and actually broadly happy to just be playing poker again. Cooking, I decided to give myself a dark green here just because I made 2 nice meals, both of them with venison shanks that I picked up from a market. I really like shanks. I think slow cooking just naturally applies to them anyway. And they're relatively cheap cuts of meat. So even though it was venison, I got like 8 portions out of it for my daughter and I for like a tenner. So it didn't feel very expensive at all. I did sort of Mediterranean theme for both of them. So one of them I did more like Middle Eastern with some nice couscous that I made from scratch, like herbed it all and everything. So that was awesome. The other one I did more like Greek and Turkish. So like with basically a salad of like feta and a pomegranate and stuff like that. So but both of them I put a decent amount of effort in. I did of course do other cooking. But I think like I need to like feel good and spend a couple of hours making a really good meal for it to count here. But I think I can give myself a dark green because I cooked 2 of them. I did also, when I last went to the market, picked up like a kilogram of chicken hearts. Big fan of using offal, and actually I think hearts especially are my favorite offal. I just think it's important that if you're killing an animal, you should use as much of it as possible. And I got a really good deal on, like I say, a huge bag of chicken hearts. So I'm looking forward to doing something with them in terms of my next week cooking. Weight here though, I decided to give myself a red. I did do like a couple of sessions where I stretched a little bit, but there was no workout really, I think it's fair to say. And although my weight didn't go up, there was no positive change either. As well as not doing any workout, I did have a couple of cheat days. So I had a takeaway as well as like one of those lunchtime meal deals where I picked up a chocolate bar as well. So I think I cook relatively nice meals, but my snackage is a problem. So again, this is going to be a focus for me as we discussed last week. Reading, not really. Again, I took my book with me a couple of times, but didn't really make much progress. And although I'd read some newspapers and stuff like that, I'm not going to count those. So I do have a book to read on military strategy, which is a big passion of mine. Actually, I nearly did my dissertation on specifically like asymmetric warfare. But this one's actually on like Japanese military history, so that's new to me, but really interesting. So I want to keep reading that book. And last but not least here is chess. This was the one I feel like most awkward about this week, just because I was quite shocked at just how much I played. So 113 games. I estimated it was 13 hours. That's based on 7 minutes a game. I play blitz chess, which is 5 minutes each side. Some of the games are really quick, some of them are 10 minutes. So I averaged it out at what I think is a reasonable 7 minutes a game. But that's 13 hours. And, you know, it's like when I was reviewing this and sort of like, oh, you know, I didn't do as much job hunting as I might have liked, or maybe I could have done a bit more cooking. Maybe that's not a problem this week, but, you know, I could have done some exercise, or I could have done some more reading. And the other reason why I didn't feel very good about this is not just because it's a time sink, but like really, although I played quite respectable chess and my ELO ratings in the high 2100s, so, you know, that's fine. I didn't feel like I really progressed it. And like, I think if I want to keep playing chess, I need to be a bit smarter in how I'm spending my time, right? I need to be studying openings, or I think I'm quite weak for a player of that ELO rating, or puzzles, right? And tactical finishes to games where, okay, I'm okay, but I could probably be a bit stronger. Or likewise, you know, positions, like, or just review some games from like famous players. Like, there's some beautiful games being played and reviewed at the moment online that I'm not really giving enough time to. So yeah, I think here, like, I think in the medium term, like short to medium term, like next month or so, I really want to kind of half that number at least. I don't want to be spending more than 6 hours a week playing chess. And if I am spending hours playing chess, I want it to be like good quality study, advancement, getting better at my game. So yeah, so that was a shock to me, honestly. And you know, every time I've said I've not had time or didn't have the energy, and I've realized just how much time I spent playing chess was quite a shock. Anyway, that's all I've got to say on it. I want to do this every week, as I've said, to keep myself accountable. Sorry it's a bit late this week. Again, it's all a work in progress at the moment, but hopefully it's interesting all the same. Like, comment, etc. would be great. Otherwise, that's all I have. Feel free to reach out to me for private conversations as well. We can just connect, or maybe you feel the same. I'm more than happy to talk. Maybe I've got some, maybe we'll make each other feel better. Otherwise, though, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I've been the Boss Hog, and good luck with your motivation. Bye for now.